This episode of UDS Election Hub is proudly brought to you by Dolce's Ghana, ice creams, birthdays, and more, and Burger Shack, the King Shack in burger making. Hi, good evening, and welcome to yet again another episode of the UDS Election Hub with me, Ismail Graham. Today, I have with me again the candidate Samuel Akumbo, popularly known as Wakiki. He has been here on the show before to speak briefly about himself, but today he's back again on the show to tell us or give us some more in-depth explanations or understanding to his policies. Please help me welcome to the show once again, Samuel Akumbo, aka Wakiki. I think for the purpose of this show, I should address you as Mr. President. You're almost near to that office, and we all hope that the best will come out. So, you're welcome to the show, Mr. President.
Thank you, great.
It is a pleasure once again to have you take time off your busy schedules. I know you are having a lot of things going on right now with your campaigns and all that happening. It's a pleasure having you today again.
Thank you, great.
So I'll begin by asking you how the whole process has been, from your vetting to your campaign rounds. How has it been so far?
Well, the campaign coupled with my academic activities, I think you can testify that it's not easy. But you have to submit. Once you've submitted yourself to SEC, you have to do it diligently.
Right.
So I am poised in just trying to make or change things in UDS. That is my ultimate, aim. Just to put something as a reference point in this school.
Right.
So I really don't, I'm not worried losing anything to serve the student body. And I have been telling my campaign team that, look, what we need to do is to put a smile, first ever, in the whole entire student body in this school. And that is our ultimate goal. So losing something in terms of personal is not really an issue to me, but willing to serve the entire student body of this school.
Right. So I want us to briefly talk about your vetting and how it went. We've seen the results. You came up as the second candidate with a result of 69.8. How do you think you fared in that vetting? Do we think it is a fair result? And how do you see the results of the vetting?
Well, I was expecting to emerge as the first, but 6 or 7 member panel that made the decision. And I respect their decision. Though I don't agree with it, but I respect it. I was expecting to be the first person, but that is what they came out with. I respect their decision. I have no problem with it. Because, yes, second in a 6 member, it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
So I want you to briefly tell us, do you think or believe that the vetting results can have any sort of impact in the coming elections? In that, as you are saying, you expected to be the first candidate and then you came up as the second candidate. Do you think in a way it can affect the results of the elections in any way?
Not at all. Even if you want to consider things, I think even the person having first will agree with me that I was the first person, in the sense that I have spent virtually 1 year in the school. He has spent 7, 8 years. The other candidates 4, 5, and 3. And I think the vetting was based on the history of the school, the constitution of the school, and roughly current affairs. So you look at the dynamics, how it went, he will accept or agree with me that I was the winner of the vetting. So I don't think there should be a problem with whatever, or it cannot even have effect on this election. Not at all. Leadership is different from even intelligence.
All right.
Thank you.
So I want us to briefly talk about or give your voters a little in-depth or explanations into your policies. I want you to break them down, and we will be talking about your SRC market, your SRC produced water, I mean, the SRC hostel, and the shuttle system. And all these, I think, are under a broad umbrella you call as your special project.
Yes, please.
But before we move on to that, I want to take a moment to admire your policy document, in that it's a very well-branded document which summarizes all your policies in less than 8 pages, in that anyone can just pick this document and have a flip through in like a minute or two and get the picture of your policies. Is there any inspiration behind this very well-branded document?
Well, I've been saying that even in my motto, I said we are opening a new chapter for UDS.
Right.
And that speaks a lot about what the candidate or the team is willing to do for the entirety in this school.
Right.
The reason being that, look, we have actually gone too far to serve the entire student.
Right.
And I always ask my team members that, look, our ultimate goal is to serve the entire student with quality.
Right.
And due to this, I think this should be the first time we intend to give quality to the students in UDS.
Right.
And that has actually been my dream.
Right.
That I have made even soft copies to the various classrooms.
Right.
And then also giving this to the whole classes to keep it as a document.
Right.
That by the grace of God, if the mandate is given to me, they should be able to ask questions.
Right.
Have I started this policy? How am I doing it? Where and how have I gotten this to do this? That should be questions that the students' body should be able to ask.
Right.
So that they will remind me of what I promised.
Right.
Some candidates are surprised, and really what they can only say is that you will not be able to do this. Why are you doing this? They don't even have policies to give to the students. But all what they can do is to criticize these particular policies and programs. But I am challenging the entirety of the school that give me the mandate for a year. They will be surprised of things that I'm going to put for the school.
Right. Okay. So I quickly want us to run through a few of your special projects. And an interesting one really is the SRC market. We talked about it in our previous interview that I have been on campus like almost in my 7th year now, and I don't think I have seen any SRC have a market on campus. Although a few of them have come to promise us. How do you think you would really make this work? Because I see that the Wakiki-led administration shall ensure the construction of the student market within campus to provide a convenient place for traders to ply their trade, and also enable students to purchase provisions and other valuables without the stress of having to go to town and all that.
Yes.
I think it's a great one. How do you intend making this really
Great. The last episode, I told you that leadership is not just about thinking that you are competent. You should be exposed and connected. That can go out there to lobby for the whole school. You should not only rely on student dues all the time. If you are not able to do this, it means you cannot serve. Trust me, we've been yearning to have this. Even the SHS we graduated. You have a common market.
Yes.
So if we are sitting thinking that Student Representative Council, we cannot construct an SRC market, I think we've not been fair to ourselves. Other institutions have done it. Are we in a you know, I don't know how to even put it. Are we from Burkina Faso that we think that we are not part of Ghana that we cannot also construct the market. This thing is simple. There is a land which the Nooks started something like that and couldn't actually complete it. This is what we need to do. We can start from somewhere always. You get this touch grass with a round, kind of a pavilion. Then you build across it. Build up. When you go to KEST, you can see this type of market I'm talking about.
Yes.
Then you build, you tiled inside the yard. You provide benches and then tables. And then maybe you recruit or you recruit the cooks. Medically, you treat them, then possibly they start the cooking with some small fund from SRC, which will be able to go. You start it from there. Gradually, you will be building up things that you need to add. Even if I'm not able to finish it, and it is a positive sign of getting the market. Any administration will be able to complete it. I think the student need it so much. You get, if there is lights out, people living in the traditional hall or possibly the goods hostel, I tell you, if it is not Ajia Gobe, like you always say, usually Ajia Gobe, which is not helping the students. And I think this is the time we need to get SRC market for the entire students. Somebody must start it, and I am coming to start it.
Okay. So it's an interesting one, but I would want to know how you would. Is there any criteria which you would actually use to employ these traders to have their businesses? And also, is it going to be open to students as well to also sell their items there if this project is completed?
Oh, sure. SRC is for students. We are doing this all in the name of students. And possibly, though we want to get money for SRC, that doesn't mean that you should rent it out to the outsiders. It is basically meant for students. And if there is a store in that market that we can give exclusively, it's for students. We have student entrepreneurship, then people are doing business in and out. And I think those students should be able to rent those particular, small stores to do their business while school. So that is basically what we are going to do. And we should be able to, reduce prices of goods that are going to be sold in that particular market to signal that yes, there is a benefit in the SRC to the entire students. That is basically what we need.
It's an interesting one. So I want us to also move on and talk about the SRC hostel. I hear a lot of students actually talking about this particular policy, and I hear a few of your opponents also have this in common. How different do you think you would work in your administration to, if not see the completion of this project? Because I don't think it's a one-year project.
Well, the last time I wanted to include this project in my policy, I needed to do proper scrutiny and also get closer to people who can really support us. It is something simple. Great. It is an agreement that myself and you, even if you have the capacity, the financial muscle to do, you will be able to do for us. So I went to ADB, Agriculture Development Bank, which is a Ghanaian bank. I went there to ask, as a student leader, supposing that I am the student leader today, and I am coming for this type of an agreement, how will it go? The manager told me point blank that it is not difficult. They've done it for other institutions and they can do it for us. Through the approval of the GA, that is the General Assembly, we can lobby with ADB to construct the particular hostel, the number of rooms we want, with a reduced price agreed by the entire students. Then they will be deducting it until we finish payment. And when we finish payment, certainly the hostel belongs to the SRC.
Right.
So it will be branded as an SRC hostel.
Right.
So this is what the manager told me, and I asked again, can I include it in my policy, because this is one of the things that I want to put. I want to point hand on the project that this is Wakiki-led administration.
Right. Okay.
And if you are part, you should be an agent
Right.
that you were able to support Wakiki put up an SRC hostel,
Right.
which will be of benefit to all of us. This is what I want to do. And I've been trying, because we have realized that apart from the Sanargo Hall, which is a traditional hall owned by the school,
Yeah.
and possibly understand it was even built by the chief of the land, the one who gave this land to the school. So we don't have a single SRC hostel.
Yes, and
owned
it's
by the
actually very sad, because if you go to our counterparts,
Schools, you see schools that are not even up to UDS
Right.
have SRC hostel,
Right.
and we don't have.
Right.
I mentioned this in the presidential debate. I was surprised to hear someone who is also contesting with me, who couldn't even tell the students what he will provide for them, asking me that whether I will be able to do it. You see, it's high time we think big. We should be able to do bigger things. Other schools have done it.
Right.
What is making us, a way that we cannot? We can do it,
Right.
and I'm going to start it
Okay.
by all means.
Okay.
So I think we need to actually push this agenda, and at the end of the day, we won't regret
Okay.
for voting for Wakiki.
So I was also going to ask, this SRC was talking, is there a time range, or how long would it actually be completed? If even you are out of school, how long should students of UDS expect the completion of this project?
By the grace of God, if this agenda is pushed through and approved by the GA, and with the agreement of the particular bank I mentioned, look, the money is already there. You can even take 3 months to finish a building if you want to do it.
Oh yes.
And I'm thinking that, look, my 100 days in my administration, I should be able to initiate this process.
Right.
And initiating this process, they should be able to start contracting this particular hostel.
Right.
So roughly 6 months in my administration to 7-8 months, we should be able to, go far with this hostel issue.
Right.
Because look, like I usually say, you need to trigger a system
Yes, exactly.
to influence a system for a system to work.
Wow.
And that is exactly what I'm going to do.
Oh, an interesting
Yes.
quote there.
Yes.
You need to
Trigger a system to influence a system for that system to work.
That system to work.
That is exactly
So
what.
on that influencing the system note, I've been talking to an SRC presidential candidate, Samuel Akumbo, aka Wakiki. We'll be back after this break to talk about the academics and students' welfare aspects, and of course, electricity and security of his policy documents. Please stay with us. I am Ismail. I will be right back.